Hello, my name is Vikas Pota. The reason why we're organizing this global showcase for World Education Week is we believe that schools have incredible expertise in making sure that learning outcomes improve. Given the state of the world, we want to see the expertise from this particular school being replicated in schools all over our planet so that the world becomes better for everyone. That is why I congratulate this school for what it does and hope that those listening can take away conclusions as to how they should actually approach their own improvement journeys. Thank you all for participating, and I look forward to seeing you in many of the other events this coming week. And I also want to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors for supporting this incredible work, without whom we couldn't have put together this global showcase. Thank you, and I wish you well for this event.
Fast-paced social, economic, and technology-driven change is redefining our world. And having a broad range of skills, such as creativity and problem-solving, has become far more important than being able to memorize information. To redefine how our children learn, and to empower them for the future, parents, teachers, and policymakers must stop overlooking a powerful part of the solution: learning through play. Play is the rocket fuel of child development, and there is a growing body of evidence to support that play is fundamental for children's positive growth and well-being over time. It is also an essential way to foster the skills required to thrive in today's world. The LEGO Foundation aims to build a future in which learning through play empowers children to become creative, engaged, lifelong learners. To do so, we work with a range of partners around the world to change the hearts and minds of all of those who influence children's lives through our programs, research, and advocacy, so they can all embrace the transformative power of play. Examples of what we do include making sure that caregivers, practitioners, and policymakers understand the importance of play, investigating, testing, and scaling new ways to bring play-based learning into homes and schools, using play to help millions of the world's most vulnerable children cope with adverse childhood experiences and toxic stress, or conducting research with some of the world's leading research institutions. Please visit our website and follow us on social media to learn more.
Language connects us all. It's how friendships are formed, ideas are shared, and lessons are learned. Language is how we find understanding and express love. It's how we communicate our successes, both big and small. It lays the groundwork for learning and growth. And for an increasingly diverse student population, it can be the key to achievement in school and beyond. That's why Rosetta Stone Education is dedicated to language and literacy. We offer solutions designed to support teachers and their emergent bilingual students, recognizing and celebrating the knowledge, culture, and languages they bring to our classrooms. Our products are founded on the adaptive blended learning model for individual needs, continuous progress monitoring for better learning outcomes, and culturally responsive pedagogies for more inclusive classrooms. With solutions aligned with proficiency standards, we support language learning while exploring academic subject areas, paving the way to better outcomes. Because for all of us, language is everything.
Dear T4 community, We talk a lot about teachers these days, but we rarely listen to them. Therefore, I am truly excited to join the T4 World Education Week to hear from teachers and school leaders all over the world how we can impact learning together. I'm particularly looking forward to the global showcase. 100 schools sharing their expertise and best practices, I believe, will be a huge motivation for other schools around the globe. I'm equally impressed by the T4 Solutions Challenge, its finalists and their solutions to real-world issues in education. This gives me hope that we can, together, turn around education globally. The Jacobs Foundation is a proud supporter of the T4 World Education Week because we share a vision to reimagine learning and education by bringing together the brightest people who understand how children learn. Let's do this together.
Hey, come on. All we gotta do is try, just try. All we gotta do is try, just try. Come on. We gotta try, just try. All we gotta do is try, just try. That's what we're gonna do. We gotta just try, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 15, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36, 39. Just try, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 15, 21, 24, 26. What is happening, world? What is happening, everybody? I hope you are good and safe wherever you find yourself in the world. Let me just start by saying welcome to everybody that is not from South Africa. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for joining us. And to everybody from South Africa, I'd like to say, awe masakinas. I hope you are good. So I'm going to start off by introducing myself. And then we're going to start talking about Hyacinth Primary School, World Edu Week, come on. But just before I kick off, I'd just like to say thank you very much to the Jakes Gerwel Fellowship for supporting Hyacinth Primary School throughout this journey in preparation for today's presentation. And also just like to say a major shout out to T4 Education and to Vickers for starting and hosting such an incredible event. So, more about myself. My name is Kurt Menard. I am a qualified teacher. I've been teaching for more than a decade now, and I've really got caught up in the education world. I love reading more about education and reading up on research and just learning more to make the class a better place. In addition to that, I am a let's start by saying a hip-hop dancer. Started dancing years ago with a crew called Release, and I had the privilege of representing South Africa in various international competitions. And this is where I got more involved in the hip-hop culture, looking at graffiti artists, DJs, and more dancers, and the rap world. Yeah, I'm also a videographer, and I love capturing music videos. And yeah, that's the buzz. Now let's get straight into Hyacinth Primary School. Give it up to everybody from Hyacinth Primary School that's watching. I see you and I don't see you. Okay, so Hyacinth Primary School is currently under the leadership of Mr. Cedric Anester. It is a no-fee school, which means the parents don't pay any school fees. And this information will just also help you give you more context to the community and where the school is. Yeah. It's a multicultural and multilingual school, and the medium of instruction is English. The school has a phenomenal feeding scheme that's successfully been feeding the kids right through the lockdown. And it's really just been great to see that and to see the meals being delivered to the classroom. A little bit more about the area. So obviously, Hyacinth Primary School is in South Africa, in the Western Cape province. And it's more specifically in an area called Mitchell's Plain and in Lentegeur. So the area has a mix of good and bad. The bad we are battling within the area is gangsterism and drug abuse. And I would say that the poverty line is about 40%. But at the same time, way more good people than bad people. There's just people doing incredible stuff in Mitchell's Plain and on a global stage. So that's great to see. And just a bit of a side note, I started teaching at Hyacinth Primary School
just after the long lockdown that happened from March, April, in that few months. So a lot of the work that we'll be discussing, I started implementing all of it in the school, and all of it, it's in the process of being executed. So I think now it's very, very important for us to start speaking about hip hop education. So I gave you a bit of background to my involvement in hip hop education, in the hip hop culture. So now I think it's fitting for us to start with a definition of what hip hop ed is, hip hop education is. And I'm going to start off with a definition by an American journalist called Mark Lamont Hill. And he says, it's how the elements of hip hop culture, rap music, turntablism, breakdancing, graffiti culture, fashion, and language can be used within the classroom to improve student motivation, teach critical media literacy, foster critical consciousness, and transit disciplinary knowledge. Now, that is quite a mouthful, but for me it was more of how I took what I learned in the hip hop culture and my involvement and brought it into the class to achieve these goals that Mark Lamont Hill speaks of. Because the truth is, we all know that the traditional way of teaching just doesn't work. And I think that is what it comes down to. And we know this, research proves this. So it's important for us to know this. So this is kind of what encouraged me to start doing this work and actually encouraged me to do things differently. So how does hip hop culture and how does hip hop ed inform my work? And how does hip hop ed inform my thinking? So let's just step into that for a moment. So hip hop culture, number one, the one thing that I love about it and has changed the game for me is it is extremely focused on originality, right? It focuses a lot on originality. And there's a saying in the hip hop space that goes, originality stands alone, right? So as a dancer, when you dance, right, you can't be doing the same thing over and over, or you can be, but you're always encouraged to create new choreography, to create new moves, to create new, put on new outfits that goes with your dancing, right? And how does that inform my teaching? I can't teach the same thing the same way over and over and over because it becomes predictable. And as a teacher, we do not want to be predictable, so we always need to bring something new to the table. So how I teach a specific topic, how do I change that? How do I make it original? Because at the start of my teaching journey, I was teaching like all the other teachers, chalk and talk, and it just didn't fit right. So this originality that hip hop kind of encourages also allows you to add value to the global teaching landscape and not just locally. The second thing, hip hop kind of allows you to just come as you are. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to change. You can come and dress the way you dress. You can come with your lived experiences. You can come with your own dance moves or your own raps or your own vibe. And you don't have to change, just this growth and you learn new things, but you can come as you are. And that's exactly what I want for my classroom. I want kids to come as they are. I want kids to be encouraged to be who they are. And I want to create a space where they're okay to be who they are. Because we don't want people to feel uncomfortable, because we know at the moment, there are schools where they want you to change your hair, change this, change that. And I'm not for that. And I don't think it's the right thing. The third thing about hip hop ed is the hip hop culture is aesthetically pleasing. If you look at graffiti artists, the art that they create is incredible. It's beautiful. It's something you want to look at, and you just want to look at it and check it out and really just learn more about whatever they are creating. Also, if you look at the gear, the outfits that the dancers rock before they go up, it's incredibly stylish. And how does that feed my teaching practice? I want my class to look aesthetically pleasing. I want my class to look welcoming. I want to dress appropriately. I want to dress and look lekker and look good. I don't want to just look boring or look like, oh, he's just coming to teach again and get on with it. That being said, I am new at Hyacinth. You'll see in the videos, my class is still empty. I recently had it painted and COVID slowed the process down. We are in the process of turning up that space. Fourth thing about hip hop ed and how it informs my practice. it allows you, hip hop allows you to make hip hop your own. I don't need to dress like the next person. I don't need to look like the next person. I don't need to dance like the next person. Yes, we can vibe together, jam together, we can work together, but I don't need to do it the way the next person is doing it. And if you look at a lot of the ways in which we teach, we kind of just doing what the next person does, which is fine, but we need to change it up and add more flavor and add more dynamics to the way we teach and make teaching our own, the same way we'll make hip hop our own. And the last one, which I think is incredibly important, is knowledge of self, especially where we find ourselves in the world at the moment with the various social movements, etc. I think it's important for us to have great knowledge of ourselves, like what is my heritage? Who am I? What's my family lineage, right? And then also just to dig a bit deep and look at the biases that I hold and just be like, what is my stance on racism? What is my stance on the LGBTQI community and various other topics? Because if you don't really dig into that, at some point it's going to work against you in the classroom and it's going to work out of you. And it's either going to make the class a pleasing place and a wonderful place for the kids, or it's going to cause a lot of damage. And we need to look into those areas as well. Right, so that was quite a mouthful, and I think now we can start looking at what this looks like and how this plays out in the classroom. And now we'll focus on the 5 takeaways of this session, something out that you can take as a teacher and implement in your classroom from tomorrow, and stuff that will help inform your thinking and just add maybe 1 or 2 cents to your practice and what you do in the classroom. So the first takeaway, the very first takeaway is, it's how you start your lesson. The introduction of your lesson is extremely important. It's like an essay. If it's boring at the start, you're going to lose and you're just not going to be interested. It's like a movie. I've watched several movies. If it starts boring, I'll switch immediately. Even with Netflix, if it doesn't capture me, I leave. And because we're working with children, which is even more important, because kids come to class and they could be hurt. Right? Something could be bothering them. They could be all over the place. They could not be focused, and some could be focused. But it's important at the start to get a hold of the kids and to really just grab their attention and to encourage them. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to play a short video of something we started in class, which we're still going to build on. But watch the video, and then we'll unpack it a bit more after the video. Good, here we go. Who are we? We are great. Who are we? We are great. And we will achieve greatness. Say and 5, 6, 7, go. And 5, 6, 7, 8, and. Mulweli Bafundi? Hey, I'm even smiling right now watching that video. So a few things there, a few things. One, in hip hop, it's all over and it's nothing new in teaching and learning. Call and response. In hip hop, it will go, when I say ho, you say hey, ho, hey, ho, hey. Now we bring that same flavor to the classroom and we start working as a unit and we start doing things together, right? It starts building this uniformity that we also want, but we all can still do it in our same vibe. The second thing is you'll see the words change because now we start to speak life into the kids and we speak life collectively. Who are we? We are great. Who are we? We are great. Because we need to speak to these things because especially in the school where I am at the moment, we need to speak life because we don't know what these kids are going through and we know a lot of kids are going through a lot and we need to bring those good values and words into the classroom in a great way. The second thing you see, we added that, who are we? We are great. Who are we? We are great. So there's a bit of a rhythm to it, you know, some hip hop flavor. Second thing is with choreography, this piece that you saw there. The thing about choreography is, 1, it improves coordination. 2, it's good for your health because classes can become very sedentary, right? We're just sitting all the time, we're static and it's boring. So this helps you add a bit of flavor. Thirdly, that the process of putting this together is exciting. Just doing this and creating this with the kids, and you'll see we went, who are we? We are great, and we did the choreography, and the kids just added their own energy, and it gave us a completely different flavor and a different buzz. And you'll see towards the end, we spoke about the inclusivity of hip hop. I greeted them in a different South African language, not the dominant English language. It was in Xhosa, Molweni Bafundi, and it helps the non-Xhosa speaking learners and myself to learn the language because we have to, right? So we can understand each other better and connect. And at the end, sharp, it's just slang for, you know, yo, cool, we cool, away, liquor. And that's the buzz. So that just creates a whole atmosphere. And to end this piece off, usually what happens after this, I play a motivational video, or I just encourage the kids with a like a positive word, and then we start working. And it creates a whole different vibe. And I find that when we work thereafter, things are just way better than just starting when the kids are all over the place and just boring. Second takeaway, the second takeaway is be the symbol. Now, you know, in math specifically, we work with a variety of symbols, right? Addition, subtraction, all the other symbols, right? And this literally means becoming the symbol with our bodies, because, you know, it's always traditional learning, chalk and talk, right from the board all the time. And we need to be, let's just look at Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences, right? We have visual learner, auditory learner, kinesthetic learner, read, write, naturalistic, etc. And we need to create a more inclusive classroom by doing this. And this specific method helps that kinesthetic learner, the learner that needs to move, participate in the classroom. And I'm going to play a video now from the previous school that I taught at, where we focused on using dance and becoming the symbol to explain boardens. And this was at the school where I taught before, even Donjas High School. Shout out to Mr. Taylor, if you're watching. And yeah, just watch the video and we'll speak a bit more about it after this.
Trigonometry is a method of teaching maths and certain mathematical concepts to the dance.
Minus times minus equals plus. Okay, even 8 minus times minus equals plus.
Even if you just use it as a method to get the kids' attention and you go back to the traditional style.
So let's go from the top till the end. 5, 6, 7, 8. Brackets, order, division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. BODMAS. If I don't remember this, I'm going to fail in my test.
So it helps them remember the theory, and it helps them to remember theory to apply to the actual application of the mathematics, and they remember through remembering the dance. So yes, it's just an awesome, fun method of learning mathematics.
Okay, cool. Boardens. I'm going to keep this piece nice and short now. You'll see that there are a lot of learners who cannot recall the order of operations. Brackets, order, division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. So when we did this physically and we went brackets, order, division, multiplication, addition, subtraction, you would find that when the kids are busy with exercises or tests or exams, the kid would actually sit by the desk in order to remember at which point they must apply which operation, and it works. So I encourage you to become the symbol. Let the kids be creative and let them think of different ways. Greater than, equal to, there's a variety of things that you can think of and the kids can, just to add a bit more physical activity and dance into a subject that's really, that can get very boring. Okay, so before we go to point number 3, I think I've been speaking quite a bit. Can we all just move and dance together for a bit? I'm going to play a track, then I want you to copy my movements. Let's go, let's party all around the world. Let's do this. Hey, okay, just bob your head. Bob your head, come on, bob your head. Hey, I see you, world. Okay, to the right, to the left, come on, to the right, hi, to the left, come on, to the right, hey, to the left, come on. Now throw your hands in the air. Go, just throw your hands in the air. Throw your hands in the air. Now wave them around like you just don't care. Come on, now shake it loose. Away. Cool. 21, 24. Okay, cool. I hope you had a lekker time there, loosening up a bit before we go to the next point, which is very exciting. The next point is the rap classroom. And this is bringing rap into the classroom. A lot of teachers do this with languages and various other subjects. When they want to explain what metaphors are, they will take a piece of a song, a rap song that artists that use a lot of metaphors, and they'll break it down together to get the kids' interest. And what I did here is we take the maths and we create rap songs from it. And we use this for the multiples of 7, 6. In fact, we have a whole album from multiples of 1 to 13 where we wrap the multiples. Now, there's various entry points and ways to teach this lesson. We've got the poster with the lyrics, with the numbers. We've got the track, the backtrack, and we've got the video. So I'm going to start off by playing the video for you multiples of 7. Then we're going to look at the multiples of 6. So enjoy this video, make of it what you want, and check it out.
Multiples of 7, multiples of 7, multiples of 7, multiples of 7, multiples of 7. Dream of education. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 46, 63, 70, 77, 84, 91, 70, 77, 84, 91. 7, 14, multi 21, 28, multi 35, 42, 49, 56, 63, 70, 77, 84, 91, 70, 77, 84, 91, 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63, 70, 77, 84, 84, 91, 91, 91, multiples of 7, education.
Cool. So that was the multiples of 7. And you'll see at this point, it's a dancer and the track playing. Then some teachers saw it and they gave me some critical feedback. And I think it's important for us as teachers to accept critical feedback because it will improve our work. They said, Kurt, can you add the number in the top of the corner? The numbers, the multiples itself. So that might help us for the kids to see it. And I said, cool. So we shot the multiples of 6 with one of South Africa's best break dancers. We talk about collaboration. Here we have B-Boy the Curse breaking it down on the multiples of 6. So check out this video and you can check in the right hand corner. You'll see the multiples right there. Go.
From 18, 24, 30, 56, 42, 48, 54, 60, 66, 72, 78. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60, 66, 72, 78. Down. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 56, 42, 48, 54, 60, 66, 72, 78. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60, 66, 72, 78.
Now you see, this is so dope on so freaking many levels because my wife and I shot and edited these videos. You see what it helps when you as a teacher got these extra skills for filming and editing and photography. It helps your flavor. But let me just get back to this quickly. That video, when I play that in class, I promise you the kids are hooked and the kids are excited to learn their multiples. They are overexcited and they just want to get involved. So I can play the song or I can play the video and it gets them hooked. But thirdly, I can also perform it myself. So I'm going to play a video where I perform the track. It was done for TV, but this is exactly how it goes down in class and the kids love it and it helps me create beautiful relationships with the kids and they're just like, what's going on? So check out the video and away.
You know what? You gotta never forget. You gotta never forget. You gotta put in the work, the work, the work. You gotta put in the work, the work, the work. You gotta never forget to put in the work. You gotta never forget to put in the work. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20.
Cool. So that's literally how it goes down in class. And it's so lekker. Now, I think it's cool for me to show you how this played out during COVID-19 when I did it with the kids in class, with a group of kids that was completely new to it. Like I said, I recently started Hyacinth Primary. So I didn't film the part where they lost their minds, but I just had the camera going when they were there. And so just have a look at what this looks like before and then after we work through the track. I want you guys to do your multiples of 12 for me together. Let's go. 5, 6, 7, go. 12. Start again. 5, 6, 7, go. You're reading, I see on the page there. Why are you on the page there? Put it away. Let's go again. One more time.
12, 24, 36, 40, 42, 64.
Okay, this is not good. Can I teach you guys this quickly? You want to learn the multiples of 12? Yes. Okay, let's go. 7, go!
12, 24, 36, 40, 60, 72, 94, 96, 120, 122, 124, 126.
Ah, give yourselves a round of applause. Amazing. You guys are amazing. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So right there, this is the cool part. It took a few minutes for the kids to pick it up, and from that point onwards, I then start explaining the concept of multiplication and repetitive addition. But at that point, I have the kids like this, and it just makes the classroom so much more exciting. But just before I move on to the next point, I think it's important for me to share this with you. A lot of teachers say, you know, I don't have that personality. I don't have that buzz. I can't do that in the class. But yo, you don't have to do it. There are kids in your class that can rap. There are kids in your class that can dance. So if you do your planning properly, you select 2 or 3 or 4 learners to work with, and when you do the lesson, you let them present. You let them rap and dance in front of the class while you facilitate. And like I said, there's extra tools that you can use in your classroom here and there just to add that flavor and to change things up a bit. Cool. Let's go to point number 4. And here we're speaking about creating your own content. It's about collaborating, and it's about controlling your content. Because how many times do we have a lesson we want to teach and we go online to look for videos or for pictures, and you use it, but it just doesn't fit your context. It's just there's something in the video that doesn't belong there, which when you play loses the kids. So on this section, we're going to focus on a series of posters we created, which I'll go through. But the idea here is to move from concrete to abstract, but also to make it look more inviting, to make your class look dope, to get the kids' interest, and to create a different point at which you can really engage with your kids. So first up, the multiples of 3 that I danced to right at the start that we vibed to together. We created the lyrics for that, and something I did a while back. We created a poster, and you can see it on your left over there. So you'll see it's not just standard, just all the numbers on a white piece of paper, right? It's beautifully designed. It looks like a sneaker. You can then go on and have a conversation with kids about sneakers, maybe specifically the All-Star. And you can have this conversation, a starting point with your kids. And in that way, you also, we start tapping into culturally sustaining pedagogy, which I encourage you to read up on. What we also then done is we took that image, which you can also frame and put in the class if you have the budget. It just makes your class look so much more better, dope, and that's definitely going up in my class soon. What we then did is we put it on the clothing. You can see I've got the multiples of 3 top on here. And I could start the lesson off with a stop, and we can start with talking about clothing. What's your favorite designer? What's your favorite style of clothing? What do you wear when you go here? And then we get into the maths. So you see, just make it more dynamic. And it's also beautiful to see what happens when the maths meets the art. Next up, we took a series of posters focused on angles, right? And again, I was a very busy kid. I'm still a busy teacher and I'm a hyper teacher. And when things don't catch my interest, I'm bored. So we took a 360-degree angle, which you can see on the left. I then conceptualized and thought, what do I want it to look like? I then collaborated with a dancer, a designer, a dance designer, and a photographer, and myself. And we put together a piece that I still love till today. It still gets me going. And when I put this up in class or front of adults, it really draws them in. And that moment of silence is the perfect time to teach and to engage. And I'll give you a few seconds to just look at this and for it to draw you in. Yeah. And again, like I said, you can collaborate with other photographers and other dancers if that makes sense. You didn't have to do this on your own at all. So we then took that image and we animated it. I worked with the illustrator, Chase Friedrich, who's actually a teacher at Parklands College, who was also part of World Edu Week that will be presenting directly after this. So can you see that just looks better, and someone is going to be drawn to a different one, but we still teach the math, and now it just looks a bit better. We're going to end off now with a project I'm currently busy working on. It's called Inside the Shape, where I took a 3D image, and this is what the 3D image looks like, the triangular prism, more specifically. It kind of looks like that, and that's cool. That's what it looks like in majority of textbooks, you know, and yeah, that's what it looks like. But I thought, look, how do I make this more aesthetically pleasing? And how do I collaborate? Who do I collaborate with? And I collaborated with the illustrator again, and this is what we put together. It's a dancer inside the shape. The dance move complements the shape, and what's interesting is, which I'm still going to do a study on moving forward, is I actually start remembering the shapes based on the dance move. And you'll also see that the dance inside is representative of the people in South Africa, which is for another time to chat about. Also, you'll see on the poster, the name of the angle, the shape is in English, and not only English, in Xhosa and in Afrikaans. And if you're from South Africa or wherever in the world, go Google 3D shapes in the other two languages, and you'd be hard-felt to find a good post that looks good. So we need to create content that is more inclusive. Okay. Now, guys, moving over to the last point, the flavor. When I started teaching, like I said, I was copying other teachers. I was trying to teach like other teachers. But when I went home, I was engaged in my hip hop life, my hip hop dance life. So on the one side, I was teaching like everybody else, traditional chalk and talk. But when I went home, I was working on choreography that was drawing people in, choreography that made crowds go wild, choreography with a crew that just had everybody more excited, right? And it was separate. And the big change came when I brought these two things together, when I brought my life in the hip hop culture together with my teaching life, and that changed everything. I wrote a piece for a book called Never Again, which focused on hip hop in South Africa and post-apartheid South Africa, and the title of that piece was Hip Hop Never Saved My Life, but it changed my life, and it definitely changed my teaching. So if you are a teacher and you're a chef, or you play cricket and you love something else outside the teaching and whatever, then I encourage you to combine what you teach with what you love. If you like if you like to play cricket and you teach geography, try and see the connection between it. I believe everything is connected. We just need to put the work in to see the connection. If you play the saxophone and you're a math teacher, how do you bring those two things together? And I promise you, it's going to make things more exciting. It's going to make things more authentic, and you will come alive. And if you come alive, the kids will come alive. That, guys, and everybody, ladies and gentlemen, is my 5 takeaways. So let's quickly recap. 1, the intro is extremely important. The start of your lesson is extremely important, and be intentional about every second of it. Number 2, become the symbol. Use choreography, body movements. Let your kids use choreography and body movements and get involved in the lesson and start creating new math symbols using it. Number 3, rap. Bring rap into the classroom. Or any other musical format, I guess, if you want to. But let the kids lead the way. You don't have to lead the way, teachers. You can just facilitate. Number 4 is create new content. create new ways of doing things, collaborate, connect with people that you think is going to help you, and do that. And number 5, add that extra flavor of the love you have outside the classroom and connect it to what you teach. Add that flavor, and I promise you it's going to change things. And let me just say this in closing. All the content you saw at the moment is posters, physical posters, CDs, and it's dance. And the reason we started off with that is because the reality is a lot of schools in the world, I believe, and we know in South Africa, don't have secure internet lines. We don't have projectors. We don't have iPads and all these great apps and software. So we have to start at the basic level still. And that doesn't mean we can't make things exciting, right? I also believe that if you were a boring teacher without these things, it might translate very boring onto to camera or computer. So it's important for us to know that, but moving forward, we're going to start integrating this onto online platforms. We will create an app and we're going to use it more digitally, and we're already in the process of doing it slowly, but just getting the basics right. So yeah, thank you very much. Now, some questions. I just received some questions from people watching. Thank you very much, and I'll go through some of these questions quickly. What do we have over here? What does this look like in a classroom that has 40 to 50 learners? So before COVID, I used this in class where I had about 40 to 50 kids. If you look at hip hop always has big crowds in confined spaces, vibing. But when we do it right, the focus is still on the dancing or on the rapper. And that's what we want in the classroom. When we do it right, and everybody's part of it, the focus is still on the work and on the content. If that makes sense. To transition it into COVID, that was more tricky, but we're slowly working on it. Okay, one more question. What led you to taking this approach to teaching? What about the context that you teach in? I can't see that part. Okay, what led me to this approach? Like I said earlier, we know the traditional way of teaching doesn't work, and we have to be creative. We have to do things differently, but we still have to be very intentional about how we are doing it, right? So I thought, let's try something new. Let's make it work. Even if you struggle at first or miss out on some other lessons, you have to take the risks, because what we're doing doesn't work. So I took a lot of risks when I started this, and it just meant I had to put more time in other parts to get the work done. One more question. How do you deal with students who don't open up or who shy away? So one thing that's interesting about this approach is usually kids that are shy in class and don't connect, they usually come alive, right? So that's great. And those are the kids that are considered naughty or don't want to do their work. They come alive when we do this. The second thing is, when kids are shy and they don't open up, it's important to try and have a conversation with these kids and find out why, because that also helps us become more critical about our work and our approach in the class. And this will also allow us to reflect and think, okay, speak to them. How do I change it up? Or the group of kids you worked with to lead the conversation. Ask them to engage with the learner and ask them to do some research for you so we can tweak things and change things up. Where can we access more information about your work? Do you have a website? So currently, there's no website to access the work. However, you can go on to my Facebook page, Kurt Minnaar, inbox, and we can chat. There is CD, there are posters, there is quite a few materials that you can access. So let's just talk to me or get me on Twitter at Kurt Minnaar, and then we can have this conversation. Okay, guys. I think that's it. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining Hyacinth Primary School. We have lots of work to do where we are still going to grind things out and shift and shape things more, but we are so grateful that you joined us today for our World Edu Week presentation and talk. We appreciate you. Be safe wherever you are. Wear a mask and stay lekker and stay quiet. God bless you. Thank you very, very much.
Hello, my name is Vikas Pota. The reason why we're organizing this global showcase for World Education Week is we believe that schools have incredible expertise in making sure that learning outcomes improve. Given the state of the world, we want to see the expertise from this particular school being replicated in schools all over our planet so that the world becomes better for everyone. That is why I congratulate this school for what it does and hope that those listening can take away conclusions as to how they should actually approach their own improvement journeys. Thank you all for participating, and I look forward to seeing you in many of the other events this coming week. And I also want to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors for supporting this incredible work, without whom we couldn't have put together this global showcase. Thank you, and I wish you well for this event.
Fast-paced social, economic, and technology-driven change is redefining our world. And having a broad range of skills, such as creativity and problem-solving, has become far more important than being able to memorize information. To redefine how our children learn and to empower them for the future, parents, teachers, and policymakers must stop overlooking a powerful part of the solution: learning through play. Play is the rocket fuel of child development, and there is a growing body of evidence to support that play is fundamental for children's positive growth and well-being over time. It is also an essential way to foster the skills required to thrive in today's world. The LEGO Foundation aims to build a future in which learning through play empowers children to become creative, engaged, lifelong learners. To do so, we work with a range of partners around the world to change the hearts and minds of all of those who influence children's lives through our programs, research, and advocacy, so they can all embrace the transformative power of play. Examples of what we do include making sure that caregivers, practitioners, and policymakers understand the importance of play, investigating, testing, and scaling new ways to bring play-based learning into homes and schools, using play to help millions of the world's most vulnerable children cope with adverse childhood experiences and toxic stress, or conducting research with some of the world's leading research institutions. Please visit our website and follow us on social media to learn more.
Language connects us all. It's how friendships are formed, ideas are shared, and lessons are learned. Language is how we find understanding and express love. It's how we communicate our successes, both big and small. It lays the groundwork for learning and growth. And for an increasingly diverse student population, it can be the key to achievement in school and beyond. That's why Rosetta Stone Education is dedicated to language and literacy. We offer solutions designed to support teachers and their emergent bilingual students, recognizing and celebrating the knowledge, culture, and languages they bring to our classrooms. Our products are founded on the adaptive blended learning model for individual needs, continuous progress monitoring for better learning outcomes, and culturally responsive pedagogies for more inclusive classrooms. With solutions aligned with proficiency standards, we support language learning while exploring academic subject areas, paving the way to better outcomes. Because for all of us, language is everything.
Dear T4 community, we talk a lot about teachers these days, but we rarely listen to them. Therefore, I am truly excited to join the T4 World Education Week to hear from teachers and school leaders all over the world how we can impact learning together. I'm particularly looking forward to the global showcase. 100 schools sharing their expertise and best practices, I believe, will be a huge motivation for other schools around the globe. I'm equally impressed by the T4 Solutions Challenge, its finalists and their solutions to real-world issues in education. This gives me hope that we can, together, turn around education globally. The Jacobs Foundation is a proud supporter of the T4 World Education Week because we share a vision to reimagine learning and education by bringing together the brightest people who understand how children learn. Let's do this together.